Okay, here we go.
Bit of a delay, right?
Oh, nice. You updated the music, right? It's a new one.
It's the same. I just have the two. I have the excited one and the slower
Have
one.
you recorded it, or is it pre-existing song? I mean,
It's from the YouTube
yeah,
library.
oh, okay. So you didn't record it.
No.
If you only knew someone who know how to make music and record a personal Monstercast intro, I wonder who that person would be. Maybe, I don't know, Griffo or Danda. They will sure make good.
Are you talking about yourself? You want to do try a riff? I used to have.
I'll try it. I'll try it when I get my other guitar back, because she is at the store at the moment getting some new pickups. So
Right.
at least next week.
I used to have a little guitar recording on my channel by a friend. I was thinking about that again, but I don't know if I want guitar or if I want something more synth for the main channel.
I have a synthesizer also.
Really?
I have a MIDI keyboard. Yeah, because of drums.
What kind of synth do you have?
It's the keyboard. I'll send you.
Oh, okay. Keyboard.
No, that's all I'm on.
Okay, waiting for people to go.
That's the keyboard, and on the left is the audio box that I use to record.
Oh, okay. You can do some simple effects on it. A vocoder. Can you change your voice with that? Like a vocoder?
Sorry, I don't know, because I haven't tried the microphone yet, but I think I can. I still have to learn how to use it properly, especially to do finger drums. But I'm learning. Also, I know a bit of piano, so at least I know how to move my fingers.
Yeah.
So yeah, at the moment I am learning, so that I can, record stuff. I already recorded some guitar lines, both acoustic and electric. So yeah, a first album, it's taking shape.
All right, we're live. So here we are. Good. Greetings, everybody. As soon as you guys can't hear me or something, let me know. This mic's still having connection issues. Welcome to Monstercast number 78. Today we'll be talking about horrible ways to die by monsters. So, the terrible hell monsters could put us through before death. Because death, let's face it, isn't all that terrifying. Well, maybe. Or some, what occurs after. But it's usually the torture we think about before the pain. So, or maybe there's a middle ground. We'll find out today. Monsters do bring us to odd realms. Louis out there, so welcome, Louis. Greetings, Monster Master Monster Rides. Greetings, my Louis. All right, and then we got Darth Phoenix. Darth, you are here. Cool. You did enter the voice. About your emoji question, it's a little too unclear. If we shrink that picture, it won't be very easy to recognize, I think, Darth. So that's what I'm thinking. And then there's Gagmazio, that's here. So welcome Gagmazio, welcome Darth, welcome Jono, welcome back, and welcome JMPF. We'll get started here in a moment. I think today we'll just choose random people. Yeah. Yeah, we'll see how this warms up. Oh, let's do this. I have a share by Rain. I think I'll share that one first. What Raincrawler sent to me through message. So let's get that going. Be an interesting topic. That. And the images come with it. Talk the first one first, and then seems people are scared of today's topic. Yes, JMPF. It appears so. Okay, just loading up the images. Talk amongst yourselves. One more, and then we'll get the images for the second one. Looks like Rain shared 2. Really interested to see what people came up with. Go. All right, here we go. Horrible ways to die by monsters. And this is what Raincrawler shared with us. The ways Krueger, from Freddy Krueger, kills his victims. He will look deep into your dreams, seeking the thing you fear the most, and enjoying every bit of tortured in a sadistic way. If you are scared of a spider, he will transform into a spider, or make a legion of arachnids you alive. What does that remind you of, guys? What other movie monster and book monster does that remind you of? A bit clowny. If you are scared of the sea, you can swim. Or you can swim, you can't swim. Or you have a panic of drowning, he will leave you in the middle of the ocean, the sea, surrounded by sharks, with his face in a small boat that is sinking slowly. P.S. Freddy. And it, oh, he mentioned it, Pennywise. Pennywise is who I was talking about. P.S. Freddy and it, Pennywise, have some similarities. For sure. Be an interesting match off. An example of the movie Dream Warriors, he killed a guy, a puppeteer. Hey Rita, good to see ya. Yep, we're off to a good start. An example of the movie Dream Warriors, he killed a guy, a puppeteer. Freddy pulled out the guy's tendons. Ah, that's the second image. Turning him into... So I guess the first image, correct me if I'm wrong, since I'm not sure what context the movie it's referring to, but it looks like it's like the fear of syringes and needles, and that's why he has that, I'm assuming. Something like that.
They contain drugs.
They what? They continue what?
The drugs
Ah, drugs. They use drugs.
to kill
I think
somebody
that's
by overdose.
I think
I
that's Freddy versus Jason. I don't remember. I just saw the first Nightmare and Freddy
Mhm.
versus Jason. So, but Freddy Krueger doesn't rely on people's fear. He just enters your dreams and kills you. Um, what's the fucking term? Fantastic ideas. That's it. He doesn't rely on someone's fear. I mean, just imagine you go to sleep and then John Hogan comes and kills you. Ugh, that would be hard.
Oh, is he dependent on fears? Maybe that's proved or shown in other movies. But yeah, I'm not sure. I haven't watched the other ones. I did watch. I'm sure. Let's see. So Dream forcing him to. Okay. Already pulled out the guy's tendons, turning him into a puppet, forcing him to jump through a balcony. maybe it's all a dream, but in your mind the pain is real. He can cut you off or even use your body if you are a sleepwalker. Nice. I know he'll mess with you. I don't know how much he relies on your fears. If anybody can confirm that better, if there's a big Freddy fan here. But I know he messes with you and with your realities to the point where you quickly don't realize whether you're in a dream anymore or real life. It does get to that point with the nightmares. All right, cool. Well, Freddy's a great start. I enjoy Freddy. I enjoy him when you compare the slasher horror times and all that, because I found Freddy to be more monstrous in a way, as he's beyond just being a physical form with a knife. I always thought that as a kid.
Yeah, but yeah, especially compared to Michael Myers. But when it comes to Jason, I mean, they have been rivals for some time. What do you think of Friday the 13th and especially Jason Voorhees? Because the movies aren't that good. we can agree on that. They're cheesy 80
Right.
B movies, but I've always liked Jason as
Yeah. I like
a
Jason.
slasher and also as a monster because
Yes.
from when he is resurrected, he basically becomes monstrous. So what do you think of that? I mean, the man survived explosion. He has been sent to hell. Yeah, I mean, he has been through a lot, even more than Freddy. I mean, Freddy Krueger technically is already dead. It's different. But what do you think, Arthur?
I like him. I think out of those types, I think Jason was my favorite because he is a little otherworldly with his skin because it's so deformed and he's so unstoppable. And I do, as far as the story, I mean, yeah, they are what they are, but they had potential to be better, whereas with some of the other ones, maybe they don't have that much potential. Um, but I liked the first movie that it was the mother. It reminded me now that I started watching a lot of the Psycho movies. I didn't even know there was more Psychos beyond the
Yeah,
first one, and
it turns out there's a franchise. I mean,
yeah,
we only know
and they're good.
the original.
I enjoy them. They're better than a lot of other older horror movies that have a part two, part three. I actually really like part two, and part three was still pretty good. It's the same guy, which is cool. So Friday the 13th was kind of I think heavily inspired by Psycho, but it took Psycho and onto a different angle, and I think that's really cool to see now. And now that I can compare them, so I like the first one how they started, and what they did with Jason was in a way brilliant. You know, with part two and giving him the part two was still the other mask.
No,
Yeah,
yeah, in
it's pretty
part two
impressive
he had
that
the bag. I mean,
yeah.
uh, it's ironic because part three, that's when he gets the mask. Aside from a Godzilla cameo, the fact that he gets the mask, part three is probably one of the worst movies in the franchise.
Right. Which is weird because it took 3 movies for him to develop his look, for them to
Yeah,
develop his look and show
also,
it and
one
brand
thing that
it.
always made me laugh is that people basically confuse him with Leatherface. You always see the dude with a hockey mask and a chainsaw. That's I think even in Dead
Mm,
Island they made this joke where basically there is this zombie with a hockey mask called Jason, and if you go inside his shack there is a chainsaw.
I see.
Um, but yeah, I don't know if
Kind of
it's
combining
something that
them.
is also common in the US or any other parts of the world, but um, here they get pretty confused. Also because Italy, especially teenagers, aren't that much into horror, especially um, 80s slashers. I remember my classmates all going crazy for, those shitty ghost movies like Paranormal Activity or whatever the fuck their name is, or like for movies like It, but there was no love for slashers or more hidden gems like Alien, and I know I am calling Alien a niche thing, but it is. People here don't like it, aside from monster lovers.
Hmm.
But yeah.
Right. Let's see. Okay, so the second one, Louis said, let me post one image. Or, yeah, no, not Louis, Raincrawler. And welcome, Raincrawler. Going through your submissions first. Thanks for participating and submitting them. So far, great start with those two. Trying to copy your images quicker. And here. All right. Beautiful. Full torturings. I like this one. I do like this one. Okay, so he wrote, Hellraiser. If a human opens the lament configuration, the Cenobites will appear, and Leviathan, Lord of the Labyrinth, will decide if the person is worthy or not to become Cenobite. If he is not, he will be destroyed, or, what is worse, he will be transported to the labyrinth to be punished for eternity. His essence will be tortured incessantly, waiting to die, but not realizing that he is already dead. That's pretty wild. I like how that's phrased. So, yeah, I agree. This is a terrific one for today. So there is the option to be just right off killed and not go through anything. That's cool. That's cool that you have that option. They just kind of end you.
Just a little side note. And maybe I got this wrong, but wasn't the topic most horrible way to die by monster, meaning like our monster usually kills its victims, not just a particular kill. We're not talking about our favorite kills, but maybe I am just wrong. I didn't understand at all, because even when we talked about Freddy, I mean, maybe I just didn't understand.
I think it's hard to divide them sometimes. There's some gray area maybe. Because ways to die by monsters, so that's going to be... Well, I did talk about torture prior to the death, because that's a big part, and that is what he's talking about here. Because the death itself is... You're out of here, but there could be creative ways that you die. Maybe you're cut, into pieces from parts of your body that can be cut without you dying, so you suffer longer. So that would apply as well. So it's really the torture that comes in and how creative that torture is for today's discussion prior to that death, because once you're dead, unless in the lore there's more to it. Whereas with the Hellraiser, there is a little bit more to it. So it crosses the line more, because the Freddy Krueger one is, as he was sharing, that it comes into your dreams and attacks you from there. So it's more about the attack, but then it's also about the fears got brought up. And that's something, that's a torture before death. So I can see that. But with Hellraiser, I think it's even more applicable, because you're not dead or alive. You're suffering for eternity. I think that definitely applies, because what's more closer to death than death itself, So, yeah, I can understand that. All right, guys. So let's see. So here are some Cenobites. Here's Pinhead, Chatterer. I don't know the other two's names, but that is
I thought you were a Hellraiser fanboy.
I enjoy it. I'm not a crazy fanboy of much, where I know everything and every person in the entire lore. I enjoy things, but I don't get. Surprisingly, I don't get that heavily into.
Oh, I thought you were a huge fan. Actually, no, I still have to watch it.
I enjoy it. I enjoy the idea.
I know Pinhead, because of course I know him, but
right.
Problem is that I think after the fourth movie they didn't release any more in Italy, so it's even hard to find them.
I see.
So I'm not that in the mood. Plus, I've never been that interested, but
It's
okay.
a little bit of a dry movie. I think what I enjoy the most is just the concept. You know, I enjoy
Mhm.
the Cenobites themselves. I think that's an excellent,
Mhm.
very metal concept. So that's what hits me the most, more than the movies themselves. The movies are okay.
Mhm.
Even the second or third one where they appear on the street, the electroshock in the water. I think that's the second one. It's not as good as a movie as the first, but it shows more of the Cenobites and going into this world, and it's actually a pretty fun horror flick if you're looking for monsters. So yeah,
Mhm.
what do you guys think out there? Hi, Rain. Everybody's still saying hi. Already 20 minutes of saying hi. Okay, everybody's greeting. Well, that's because Rain just came in. Cool. So Rita, Louis, Rain. Okay, and what are you guys chatting here? Sorry, I missed some things. I did read what you guys said here, but copying stuff.
Not much.
My Darth, indeed. John, part 8. Yeah, part 8. A little silly. Female Cenobite reminds me of Wednesday, Adam's Family a little bit. I could see that, especially with the big forehead, and that actress, I always remember she had a big forehead. I forget the individual names other than Pinhead and Chatterer. Yep. I mainly remember Chatterer because I did that sketch of him for the channel too. Yeah, I forgot the other one's name. I like that you can see on them how they died and got tortured as well, and they stay in that form. It's very akin to the tortured souls I shouted out a little bit to that Todd McFarlane, the creator of Spawn and all that. He created a toy line called Tortured Souls. And they're basically like Cenobites, except that they don't have the benefit of Cenobites. They're in that forever tortured state. And that's what the toy is, the figure.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I'm a big. Well, I'll say I'm a fan of those. It's hard to say I'm a big fan of things because then I get questioned, like Jono did, which is normal because when people say big fan, you
Oh,
expect them to know the things. So I'd say I'm a fan. I'm a big fan of that kind of
you
monster
like
and
the design?
representation,
Okay.
but I'm a
Mhm.
fan of the thing.
Mhm.
So let's see. I have 2 horrible deaths by monsters I'd like to mention. Okay, Louis, cool. We'll go to
Let
Louis
me
then. Thanks again, Raincrawler. Those were great shares.
let me click the chat so that I can see what people are saying on YouTube. I must
There you go.
have a full picture of the event.
Cool
I
thing.
am the Slayer. I am worthy of being one.
There we go. Let's forget the individual. Okay, so we're done here. A quiet one today, actually. This is weird. Jono, what a weird, what a weird
What
Saturday.
that?
What a weird Saturday
Yeah.
for a few reasons.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
we may have
Oh,
a shorter Monstercast.
you're also chewing gum. See,
Sorry,
this
no,
is
I'm
the
eating
true
a
power.
pineapple.
Oh,
I'm an animal.
I hope that pineapple wasn't on pizza. I truly hope.
It was a horrible way to die for it. All right, so Louis, I have 2 horrible deaths by monsters I'd like to mention. The first one is Dracula, classic kill, which is death by implementing the victims. The victim sometimes would not die immediately and would slowly bleed to death. The other is the blood fountain death, where the Deadite demon would use its power to make its victim's blood pressure and burst as a fountain of blood. That is cool. What is that? Fountain of blood, fountain death, Deadite demon. What is Deadite from? Deadite demon from where?
No, no. Evil
That's
Dead,
from
maybe?
Are we talking
that's
about
from
Army of Darkness?
that I demon. Oh, I think that's one. Yeah.
That's what we're talking
That
about,
one.
right? Yeah. Okay. So, damn,
Yeah, Army of Darkness one. Yeah.
I need to rewatch that. I watched the old one, the first one, before they gained the funds to remake the first one. I watched that one more recently. I've seen them all, but I haven't seen the other ones in a while. I don't
Yeah,
remember
I have
that part.
all three in DVD, but
Awesome.
I still have to watch Army of Darkness.
Oh, really?
Search Tanner. I mean, again, I of course watched it
Oh, okay,
years
okay.
ago, but yeah.
Good. Those are classic, guys. If you haven't seen Army of Darkness, and you like horror, and then the horror with kind of comedy, like what's the other one? Dead Alive. I really enjoy Dead Alive too. Although these are more horrific. They start off more horrific. It's a lot of fantasy, horror, and comedy content to it.
Mm-hmm.
They're just really fun movies. They're an American cult.
Like Shaun of the Dead.
Classic.
Have you watched Shaun
Yes.
of the Dead, Arthur?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Arturo.
So I don't remember that, but that is cool, Louis. So it explodes you. It raises the blood pressure that much. That's awesome. So let's see. Out of the two that you said, Bleed to Death by Dracula or that one, I would certainly say the blood pressure one is freakier because once your blood leaks out, I mean, you're slowly losing consciousness. Other than you're still conscious and your mind's going crazy, I mean, there's not much more to the torture. Whereas the blood pressure going up, depending how fast it is, I mean, that's just a very abnormal body feeling and effect. So that's pretty wild, Louis. Original and best haunted cabin movies. Okay, let's see. Vlad fans rise up. Original and best haunted cabin movie. Oh, is that what happens in the cabin movie? I don't know. What are you referring to there, JMPF?
Bro, the first Evil Dead, I think, Arthur.
Oh, okay. First one. Gotcha.
First
okay,
/ second. I think Evil Dead 2 is my favorite one because
that's true, huh? Oh, Evil Dead 2.
It's the best one because Army of Darkness. I love Army of Darkness, but the problem is that they had several problems and they were forced to go PG-13 with that, so it's not as gory as Evil Dead 2 is, and so I love it. I still have to watch the remake, the new one, and the Netflix series that came out.
Yeah.
Ash versus the Evil Dead or something.
Right. Yeah, I heard that the first one they made, they didn't even have a ceiling in the whole building. It was just, well, which makes sense. That's actually a common thing when you're doing stuff on a budget. How they film that. But the
first one, the first one was basically an amateur movie.
Yeah, and it did so well. And it's still a good movie compared to other horrors. It's actually quite enjoyable still.
I mean, we're still talking about Sam Raimi. The problem is that when they had to make Evil Dead 2, they were under a different label. So basically, that's why the first half of the movie is a remake of the first Evil Dead, just with Ash and the girlfriend.
That's the one I need to rewatch again. That's where things get even crazier. Literally just crazier. The movie goes very crazy, which is very fun because not a lot of movies take that path. You stop early before it, and because it gets to the point where it's just crazy, to the point where it's just crazy funny too, and that's a funny angle to go into. Let's see, it's Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness, Evil Dead 2000, something. Okay. Like how you go crazy with Ash and lose your fear with him. Yeah, exactly. Pretty wild. I like that kind of humor. I don't know where you see tidbits of it. Like in Rick and Morty, they tend to push things like that. Family Guy did sometimes. I like that kind of humor. I think even the Lego movie did something like that, where you're just going into emotions so intense, and it just gets crazy and silly. Yeah, I wonder if there's a name to kind of comedy or expression other than crazy.
Referring to Arthur, I'm not following.
Yeah, it's hard to follow me right now because that's a little abstract. But just go into the the limits of your sanity, I guess. In the moment kind of thing, not over time. Yeah. So let's see here. He was a brutal killer. JMPF says, fun fact, the family had several Vlads. You can never know who Dracula actually was. Nice.
Well, everybody agrees on stating that Vlad Tepes III is the one Dracula is based on.
And we're not talking about Prince Charles, right? For the new one.
Yeah. Okay, let me find a photo that will go against every kind of moral Arthur, and I'm going to post it now.
Uh-oh.
Here it is.
Oh boy.
Look at him with a goat.
And how is this relevant?
I don't know. I just found it on my hard drive.
It's just
I
random.
thought it was
Okay.
funny. Plus,
Shout
he's
out to
wearing a
John.
battery shirt, so that's cool.
There you go. The real vampire himself. Yeah, fun fact, guys. Prince Charles is related to Vlad very far, but yeah, he kind of presented that, and it's perfect for all those conspiracy theorists, that think or believe that there's blood eating and bloodletting and satanic things in the elites. That whole thing. It was a very fun conspiracy thing, and you never really know. But so Prince Charles saying that he's actually related to Vlad was pretty convenient for that. You might want to look into that if you're into that kind of stuff. I like how you go crazy with that. Good old Uncle Vlad. Okay, cool. So we had some horrendous deaths so far. Let's continue. I think I have a good one I'll mention. I haven't thought about it too much. Gagmazio, let's go to you. Gagmazio. In the chat, do you have anything you'd want to share today, Gagmazio, as far as horrific deaths by monster? And you guys in YouTube, please write it down in your comments over there, and I'll read it over here if you have something to share. Cool, Gagmazio does have something. Let's check it out. OCD's coming in.
Hello.
Oh, she's here. Okay, welcome, OCD. Good to see you.
Hello.
How are you?
Good to see you guys too.
Sweet.
Trying to buy some fucking
The topic is
plants in my fish tank.
horrific ways to die by monsters.
Oh yeah.
Waiting for Gagmazio's post. We've talked about Freddy Krueger and him kind of torturing you and messing with you between reality and dream world or death. The Hellraiser Cenobites, where when do you go to the full tour? Let's see here. The Cenobites, the tortured souls that come from hell. And if they find you worthy, you get a quick death. If you don't, then you pretty much suffer for eternity, awaiting what you think is your death, but you don't know that you're already dead. And then we talked about vampires, as Louis mentioned. Dracula. What's a worse way to die? By having your blood drained and leaking it out slowly, or having your blood pressure rise up until you explode, as is from the Army of Darkness, the Evil Dead series. Then we had a John Hamm shout out for some reason. Such a vampire.
Look at him, Arthur.
Of souls.
He is so fun.
And then we're going on to Gagmazio. Cool. All right, here we go. So, most horrible way to die for me to die is to die from a monster called Valhazak. So he is known as Corpse Coat Dragon because of the fact that he actually wears dead corpses as armor and camouflage. Nice. But basically, it's not death from the monster that's horrible. It's death from the substance he produces called effluvium. Effluvium is basically gas, a gas-like substance that's made up of billions of microscopic bacteria that when it enters your or other creature's body, it starts rotting its flesh from the inside out. In basics, bacteria starts absorbing nutrients from the body and eating your muscle. Feeling as a game can pronounce as worse than standing in. Feeling as game, not sure what it means here. Feeling as game can pronounce is worse than standing in lava. Okay, so it's feeling, so it feels worse than being standing in lava. Because your flesh is almost completely rotten, you will still be alive till Valhazak starts inhaling effluvium back into him to absorb nutrients it collected from the orgasm, leaving only empty, lifeless husk behind. Even though this sounds horrible, Valhazak is actually really peaceful creature that will only attack hunters if he feels like he is in danger. Otherwise, you'd be safe if you are in a safe distance from him because of effluvium. He also has a variant called Black Veil. Valhazak, who lives in an ancient forest, has a fungus growing on top of the corpses he wears, creating even more effluvium. Word of the day. And due to fungus realizing spores, he can cover a bigger area with it, infecting more creatures. Classification: Elder Dragon, comes from the game Monster Hunter World. Sweet, so we got a monster. You're a Monster Hunter master, right, Gogmazio? Yes, you are. So here we go. A good one. Nice find for monster. You really know your Monster Hunter monsters. Here's the monster. Let's take a look at that. Lovely, lovely, very monstrous dragon form. So it's covered with corpses. Okay, so the extra flesh would be corpses, and then on top of that, it has a fungus, a mold growing that can release more of the spores of this stuff called effluvium. Okay, so it's bacteria that starts rotting the flesh from inside.
True.
It's pretty cool. I like it. I like that it's still... The creature is still beastly. They didn't have to go to more sentient kind of realms with it and more intelligent to make it more magical. It's still very science, oriented, and it's a subtle thing. It's a thing that grows on it. It's not some crazy stuff that jumps out. I wonder how big is this one, Gagmasio, since last time we talked about the other ones, the other two Monster Hunter ones. I'd want to know about where this guy's size is. Does anybody else have any questions or comments on this one? Vlad, this monster than the same Dracula. I think so too. Vlad was. It seems when you look at the Dracula movies, the real Vlad was more of a monster, impaling those heads. The old ones, I mean, Dracula just needs to feed, right? I mean, come on now. Is that inherently so evil? The old ones, or older bames of blood, there are a lot of grueling deaths in it. But being ripped in half slowly and groups of people being put into blenders by giant rabbits has to be some of it. What are you talking about, Rita? The worst. What are you talking about? The old ones of Elder Banes from Blood? Are you talking about a game or a movie? Please clarify, Rita. Sounds intriguing.
Sounds like Dandy.
It does sound like Dande. Sounds like a bunch of Dandes torturing you. Or Dandos. Let's see this. That's a pretty cool animation. Where's that from?
Love, Death, and Robots.
Oh, yeah, I do need to check that out. So they even have an
the
animated
Dracula
episode.
episode.
Oh, gotcha. Damn, I guess that looks pretty good then. Because I'm thinking that the show just has some cool effects and stuff, but it looks like it's maybe beyond that. Is it very good? Do you enjoy it, Jono? Like, do you have to keep watching every episode? Does it pull you?
Well, I finished it in one day, but because episodes are very short,
Mm,
and basically each episode is different. It doesn't follow a story. Each episode is auto-conclusive. Each one has a different style of animation. So yeah, there are also pretty cool monsters in it.
nice. Very
So
cool.
it's on Netflix. It's a Netflix original show, so you should go
Right.
check it out because it's awesome.
Yeah, I sure do plan on it. I just forgetting to forget it. Okay, let's move along then. Very good share there, Gagmasio. If you can still get me that size range or estimation of. Let's move on. Let's move on to Jono. Jono, do you have anything to share today for
Finally,
horrible deaths?
this time.
Other than slowly
time-
losing ranks and suffering death. I'm kidding.
Yeah, we still have to talk about that. Well,
So,
of course, I
okay,
am going to. I have
what do you got?
at least two picks for today. First one is wait. The first one is pretty known one. I'm talking about the Xenomorph from the Alien franchise.
Okay.
I chose to talk about that because of all the many ways you can die by it. Because there's the chest buster, which is probably the most gruesome, the most visually impressive, especially at the times. It's so violent, but I mean, throughout the series, the Xenomorph has been proven to be the perfect killing machine. So um, even in in adult form, if you want to call that, he can still kill you easily, and especially when there is a swarm of them, as proven by the sequels. And not only that, but even if you manage to hurt or kill one, you can still be killed because of its acid blood. So yeah, it's basically a perfect killing machine. That's why I love it. We all love it.
Did you have this one planned to talk about the whole
Yes.
time, or did you come up with it later?
No,
Okay,
I
so we are on the
thought
same page
immediately.
here.
But
Gotcha.
now there is also another one.
Mhm.
It came to me today, like basically 1 hour ago, because I was watching a documentary while studying. It was a making of video from Mastodon of their last album,
Mhm.
um, that is called Emperor of Sand, and the album is basically based on loss, grief, and cancer. Because as they said, eventually in your life you will come up with cancer, even if not personally, someone near to you is going to have it. Um, I chose it because not only cancer is some real bad shit, it's a real life monster, if we want to call it, if we want to call it like that, but also as it is represented in the album cover as a monster. The Emperor of Sand is a metaphor for cancer. So yeah, this is it.
So this is the metaphor, the representation of cancer, you said?
Yes. Basically, the whole album is this wanderer is cursed by a sultan. He has to wander through the desert without water, without anything, until he is saved / dies, as a metaphor of the journey of illness, of serious illnesses like cancer or lumbago, until you die, and you're basically safe in a way because you don't suffer anymore.
Nice. It's like another representation of death, even. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I wonder how they went. Well, usually they don't Sometimes they don't
What?
overthink their album covers, but it's an interesting approach. So what's the whole album about? Is it about that, or like
Yes,
how does it go through?
yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes, it is. The whole lot. Because um, when they started recording it, the guitarist's mother died of cancer. So from that, they basically chose on how to set up the record. Uh, Ironic, I am currently wearing my Emperor of Sand T-shirt that I bought at a concert of theirs a few years ago.
Nice. That's Mastodon, you said, right?
Mhm.
All right, guys. For you guys that are aware of that band too, but no, I like this. I always like metaphoric representations like this. It's very reminiscent of that board game I've been playing for a while now, Kingdom Death Monster, because you have weird things like that in the game. Basically, it's how things can turn into real monsters. And I think the lesson of the game is, as you're battling these monsters, is that finally you become the monster too. You become the monster. In the game, it's almost like things have evolved. Like there's an expedited way of evolution. And so whatever treacherous thing there is about you, it's just getting exaggerated until you become this thing. So different than this, but similar. I was thinking also in the art, because it has this, especially in the game, this little bit of twisted Tim Burton, more classical, odd kind of Alice in Wonderland twist style to it. More so than this image, but still just reminded me of that. I wonder if they don't have any other covers with like representations like this, do they, Jono? Because that'd be cool to see, like one for cancer, one for heartbreak or suicide, different things.
Yes and no. What I love about Mastodon is their album covers. This is my favorite one. I actually talked about this when we talked about religion-based monsters. I talked about this album cover, which is their second album, my favorite album of them, as Leviathan. Well, it's Moby Dick, but it has even the novel itself. Moby Dick is basically the metaphor of nature rebelling and against man, against man's power. In the end, we're just small compared to nature.
Yep. And we have been getting cocky, and let's see what we're getting now in our world.
Yeah, especially when we don't get Slayer, right, Arthur?
Keep pushing it, Jono. So,
but also talking about monsters, this is the cover for Once More Around the Sun. Look at that. I love this cover. So bright. So
yeah, no, it's psychedelic in a way.
Yeah,
very cool.
It's an orgasm just to watch it.
One more round. Oh, what do you guys think? Pat, let's see. So Rita was explaining it's from the old ones from an anime called Blood Sea. Elder Bames is what they're called. A bunch of Dandos. Well, we got another name for Dando, Elder Bame. Louis will check it out. It's got more twists than a spiral staircase. Right on, Rita. Right on, Rita. All right, let's see. JPF, fun fact, the book was based on real life whale. Okay.
Actually, on two different events. Because there have been sights of a white whale called Moby Dick or something like that in the 80s, and also from the Essex whaler accident. They did a movie about that a few years ago, I think. I really liked it. So yeah, that's where Melville took his inspiration.
What's it called?
The movie, I think it was Arts of the Sea.
Okay.
Something like that.
Cool. Keep an eye out for that. Alrighty. So that was Jono. And back to the xenomorphs. Certainly, for those of you that aren't aware, I'm sure all of you are, but you get the cycle of the face hugger, or, well, you get a quick death from a xeno, usually pretty quick, it seems.
I mean, I don't think a chest burster
Mhm.
will be that quick, Arthur. I mean, it seems pretty. I mean,
Well,
of
no,
course,
I'm talking about
if we're,
the
if we're
quick.
talking about Alien versus Predator chest bursters, then yes, because those are shit. But I mean, the scene from the first Alien, that's
Yep.
fucking sick.
No, I'm talking about the
Um,
two deaths. So death by xenomorph, which is usually pretty quick. They'll do a inner mouth punch through your skull. But then what John was referring to here in a more devastating way of it all is the face hugger and the chest burster. And so let's review. So face hugger comes out of the egg, implants itself onto your face, and releases the what's the word?
Basically,
Not the
impregnates
egg.
you.
But yeah, impregnates you, and then from within it starts to grow into the chest burster, the second, the second phase of the xenomorph, and then it bursts out of your chest. So yeah, you're gonna suffer because you got this rather large object, living organism in your body, in a weird area too. It's not like in the womb in a lady if she's having a baby, but rather in the lung
upper
area
chest.
or in the stomach. No, it's in the stomach. I had a cool theory brought up about that, but I'll talk about it some other time when we're covering xenomorphs. But and then it bursts out. So the main suffering would be once it's implanted in you. It's a rather large embryo. That's the word I was looking for. And then it keeps growing and then moving around. So imagine the pain you go through with a regular stomach ache and what you'd be going through with this. And then finally it bursting out where you're not going to die instantly either. In reality, it would take maybe a couple minutes or so. So,
Also, Arthur, don't forget about this. I mean, just imagine
is
it
it John Hamm
through
with
human
okay.
skin.
True. But, where does this... I mean, where would this come in with all of that? Maybe it's turning your blood and acid slowly, too. Yeah, it's unclear territory, but its blood is acid, after all. That's a cool scene in the movie, too. Let's see. I'll check it out. More amazing album cover, monster presentations. Yeah, those are pretty awesome covers. I don't know much about Mastodon. I was just expecting them to be like more of the usual covers that you'd see with metal and stuff, with just cool images. But these are like they're works of art. They're beyond just cool renders of art. They're like cool conceptation.
Nothing about metal. There's to talk.
So, yeah, no, they're very cool. I agree.
You should check them out. I'm sure you will like
Yeah,
them.
I'm sure I've heard their stuff and all that.
It's nothing like Agalok. So.
Gotcha. Okay, let's move on. Thank you, Jono. Let's go to... Well, we have one person left. That's here. Unless somebody on YouTube shares. And be it. That's crazy.
Rita shared hers?
Yeah, well, she was talking about the... So I'll review hers again. It's from the anime called Blood. She was talking about the old ones, or Elder Bames. And they are a lot of grueling deaths in it. So, about being ripped in half slowly. And a group of people being put into blenders by giant rat. I think you're pretty much... Oh, well, you wouldn't be dead. It's the whole body. By giant rabbits. Yeah, it's pretty wild. It's definitely things of nightmares. It's the creepiest part of Donnie Darko times 100. But just these giant rabbits, or I don't know how big they are. Can you... Damn it. Okay, I gotta search this out. I want to see an image of what these rabbit folk look like that put people in the blenders. And I believe those are the same ones that tear you apart in half, right? Pro said Mountain Dew. Does look like Mountain Dew, actually. So, Bames, what am I looking for? Blood? Bame. Alright. search that out. I just want to see the book, and I'm not seeing anything. Elder Barons. Barons? Or that's an R. Elder Barons. Barons. Or Brains. Here. Okay, we're getting somewhere. Rita, let me know if I'm looking at the right image here, if you're watching this. Otaku-ness. Pretty cool stuff in here. I like this thing. Not sure what that is, but I'm going to post it. Pretty awesome. I sent you the clip of Blood Fountain on Messenger if you wish to post it. Okay. Blood Fountain. Oh, the Blood Fountain from Army of Darkness. Okay, let me check that out real quick, Louis, while I see if Rita has a response on that. Okay, loading. Get that clip, copy, and thanks, Louis. Hassle. Loaded. Oh, because it's a Facebook. But it's not a Facebook link. So hard to copy and paste. They so want to be invited from YouTube. Okay, here we go. Let's check this scene out real quick. Turn off the sound. Play it. The fountain, the blood fountain. Playing it. Let's skip forward a little bit. I just love this. The whole guy's character is so, what the word is, cringy in a good way. All right, let's see. Oh, okay, so that's how they show that. I remember. So they just show the blood spouting. That's cool that you caught that, Louis. And you said it was what the monk was. The Deadite Demon. Yeah, the Deadite Demon. That's pretty awesome. That's a lot of blood, too. Is that a realistic amount of blood? Let's see. Seems a bit less. Well, it depends how fluid is organized in its flow. Ah, yes, that scene. Yeah, awesome scene. Okay. So that was Rita on the ending again. Let's see. I sent you also the way Vlad impaled people. It had to be really painful. Right. Yeah, all that and just the sheer number of people, right? How they crossed him. All right. Beautiful. That's a beautiful John Hamm emoji. Okay. Last one, I think we have, I'm not sure if I asked her. Damn it. So OCD. OCD, do you have anything that comes to mind as far as horrible deaths by monsters?
What about the Blob from like the remake of the movie? You know the Blob? The big blobby guy?
You said You said the remake movie?
It's much more gory. I think it's a remake.
I don't know if I've seen that or heard of it. I may have. I don't remember anymore. Is there a remake of The Blob? Let's Google that.
It might be a remake. I think it was a remake.
Okay. Yeah. And we'll get deeper into that. Well, not deeper in The Blob, but...
I don't know, but it used like a different version of The Blob.
Oh, I didn't know the original was 1958. Wow. 1988. Okay, so 1988 is the one I think we... I really need to do a Blob in-depth video. but I'm not seeing a newer one. I guess
I'm
the
pretty sure, yeah,
1988
I'm
is
thinking
a
of-
remake,
Yeah, that's probably what I'm thinking of. Yeah,
unless you're
just
thinking
those
something.
fucking gory ways people die in that movie. It's horrible.
Right, so
I
it'll
was
cover
look
you
at-
and just digest you, right? Right
Yeah,
then and there. Dissolve you within itself.
yeah.
I wonder how
Messed up.
quickly you would lose, your breathing, because that would be the best
Stop
part of that
breathing,
torture,
yeah.
right? Is losing breath first, and then who cares what happens after, because you're already dead.
Mm.
Um,
I,
but that
I
was-
know it kind of showed them being alive for just a little bit afterwards, as you get digested. It's all
Mhm.
stuff. It's
Well,
disturbing.
yeah, there would be at least some seconds of right out torture, because if you think about it, if it's doing that, if it's digesting you like that, so you're pretty much just in an acid jelly, a powerful acid jelly. And acid's probably one of the worst in real life, and well, a lot of things beyond that too. But acid's got to be one of the worst tortures
Oh, yeah.
by far. Just because it's slow, it works layer by layer. Extremely painful because it's hitting on so many nerves at once. It's not like being sliced in one area. It's so many nerve ending areas, and that's what makes it so just devastating, so painful. So that's essentially what a blob is doing to you too. It just doesn't look so bad from the outside. It looks a lot friendlier than that, but really it's pretty horrendous. Let's get some images, some cool images of blob. I know that's what I enjoyed in the movie too. It's quite gory when you see the dissolving and the bones and all that. Let's get this.
Hi guys, sorry I'm a little late to the party.
No worry, Gargamel. Good to see you, man. How are you?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Hi.
We're talking about Blob now as our final thing here. I wonder if you guys that are into D&D monsters at all, at least you would know of the gelatinous cube. It's one of the most famed ones.
Yeah, that would be a horrible way to die. This is
Yeah.
about ways to die by monsters. That would be a horrible way to die.
Because that's what the gelatinous cube is, essentially, like the blob. It's a block, a cube, a big block, like 7 feet tall or something, of gelatin, of clear gelatin. So when you're in the dark caves, it's very easy to just kind of walk into it. And of course, it's going to grasp you a bit. It's animated like that as well. So, but the whole point is it's also clear, and then it's going to digest you slowly, like the blob. Probably a lot slower than the blob. But I guess my question is, I wonder if they've influenced each other at all, since the blob came out in 1958 or something, the original. Yeah. So it looks like possibly. I mean, things don't necessarily have to always influence each other. You can have an original thought. Let's be honest. And yeah, it did come out in 1958. But I wonder if the gelatinous cube was, or if they had that in mind, if they had Blob in mind. I'm sure they knew about the Blob by the time they released Gelatinous Cube. Well, Gelatinous Cube, I'm pretty sure came out before 1988, so it would be the original Blob, 1958. So I don't know. But cool little comparison there. I would say Blob is just more intense. It is made for a horrific movie after all, not a D&D campaign, so in the conceptual workings of it, it would make sense. It would just digest faster. So, cool. And thank you, OCD.
Hello.
Right on. Gargamel,
Yay.
you just made it here. Do you have any monster to share, or death by monster, horrible ways to die by monsters? as a
Yeah.
topic?
What I imagine would be like one of the worst ways to die by monster would be death by dragonfly, like burned alive by a dragon that would swoop down and set you and everyone on fire. You know, like in the end of the last season of Game of Thrones, which I didn't see because I never really got into Game of Thrones, but I know about what happened because I heard about it and saw some screen caps of it.
Mm-hmm.
But it happens a lot in movies that where there are dragons. People get killed by being burned alive.
Yeah.
And that's a pretty scary way to die.
Yeah. And I think Game of Thrones portrayed that beautifully at a larger scale. Rather. Well, it portrayed it excellently at both levels because they did have dragon or death by dragon as one person or two people, but they had the whole city as well. So think what you will of Game of Thrones and the later episodes. It's still, I thought it was absolutely awesome to actually finally see a full out better whole scene of a dragon destroying a city with fire. It's devastating, and there's a reason why dragons were the ultimate thing of horror back in the day. And you see it all over artwork and everything, and you tend to forget that
dragons were different though. Like Chinese dragons,
true.
Like I don't think they necessarily breathed fire. They just well, actually, they're Chinese and Japanese dragons. I think there would be Oriental dragons, or Asian dragons would probably be better because that's a little bit more politically correct.
You're right, Oriental, yeah. Yeah, definitely different. Nature than the
they
European.
were practically the dragons in Asia, like places like Japan and China, were practically worshipped as gods.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Also, South American dragons were a little different too.
Yeah, and they were a little. Yeah, it depends. So. Yeah, but like I was saying,
I'm thinking
it's
about
like
the European-style dragon getting burned alive by one of them.
Right, the big winged one and fire breathing.
Yeah.
Because even in literature, up to what was it? Which book was it? They were portrayed as just evil, evil beyond even beast level evil. Beowulf still had it, but then I forgot which book was the first where finally the dragon was a bit more than just a evil beast.
I think it was something written in I can't remember the name of it, but it was written in the late 19th century.
Right.
The first time they actually portrayed a dragon as something other than just plain evil.
And that's why from this point, and I was going to say earlier that by this point we've been kind of numbed out to the fear of dragons because of all the other horrors we've seen in movies. And more terrifying.
I think it might also be because it is on one level kind of ridiculous, and so people aren't as scared of it now because people don't think that could actually exist.
Mm-hmm.
And
right, the whole fantasy.
There is a case that could be made that in some cases, some types of dragons maybe they could exist, but it would be really far-fetched. And even those that would not evolve naturally, maybe create for genetic engineering. The fire breathing would be the biggest problem because it'd have to be it would have to get some supply for that. And it would also have to be able to protect the inside of its mouth from that, flame.
Mm-hmm.
But human beings can, sort of breathe fire in a way if they train themselves. But it is very dangerous.
Sure. Yeah,
you would have to have some kind of special protection if it could really breathe fire.
Mm. Right,
especially if it wasn't completely immune to high temperatures.
Yep.
Which is also really far-fetched.
Yeah, I think it's also the variety of dragons from different cultures, and then the evolution of dragons that dragons went through in stories to becoming friends, even like in Dragonheart and things like that.
You really should, by the way,
certainly changed.
One of these days, the new Peach Dragon movie, the reboot that was I think done in 2016. You really should do You should really do an all about the dragon in that movie one of these days. That was a pretty, creative dragon. Or maybe do an all about the dragon in Dragonheart.
Right, I'd love to. Yeah. For sure. I've never gotten much into Pete's Dragon. I kind of want to rewatch I do want to watch the newest one, just because, the beautiful physical effects they did to it.
There's not much singing and dancing in the new one. But the dragon actually looks very impressive.
How would you compare the two movies? Like, which one do you like more, just plot-wise and everything?
The new one.
The new one.
I don't remember the old one that well, but I know I saw it a long time ago. But I like the new one a lot better from what I can remember.
Yeah. Cool. I definitely want to check it out. So yeah, Death by Dragon Fire.
Yeah,
Again,
that would definitely be a scary one.
if anything, Game of Thrones has some amazing visuals and scenes. I'll give it that. For the
Do you guys
haters
have
and the
any
lovers.
questions about this particular way to die an unpleasant death by monster? Well, we can
I
move
think
on.
by fire, it's like it's bad, but is it the worst? Would you think by fire? Because being burned at a stake, on a stake, would be a lot slower, which could be a lot scarier. By dragon fire, it's like depending how powerful the heat is, right? Because if it's like a rush of plasma fire, like from plasma, a flamethrower, I'd imagine it'd be very intense heat. Well, I don't know because they still have to eat what they burn.
You could still it could still be like not as intense as you would think it is though, because the
Exactly.
creature, exactly. If this is a real flesh and blood creature, that'd be something that's protecting it from that heat. And so maybe it's just it's just hot enough that it would be effective as a weapon.
Yes.
In which case it might make you kill you slowly, and you'd have to put it out, but you wouldn't be able to because you wouldn't be able to roll fast enough. You wouldn't be anywhere near water. And if you were near water, you could be like severely injured for the rest of your life.
Yep.
Manage to put it out.
Like more of a maybe not kill you, but to stun you level of heat. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's an interesting topic. If I ever do all about dragons, I definitely want to hit upon that because it makes sense. It wouldn't want to, especially if it burns prey too, not just opponents. Because if it burns prey and then just burns it to a crisp, how much protein is it getting out of that? Just getting a bunch of carbon. Either way, carbon.
Well, maybe it's getting enough protein
maybe.
and it's killing. Maybe dragons also have. Maybe you can get protein out of that because it's still chawing it, and now the heat could kill like bacteria and stuff. So maybe dragons, they have fire because they have very weak immune systems, and
Maybe
if the bacteria for a predator, so they need to kill the bacteria on their prey, and so they burn their prey alive because that is how they keep from getting sick from all the bacteria on their on the prey animals.
Maybe it's more of a light toasting. Like maybe they just cook the food.
Right.
Like lightly.
Exactly. So kind of lighter. So if you're, and it'd be interesting because they could probably control maybe not the level of heat, but the flow and the amount of fire coming out too, which would make the heat higher. So yeah, interesting, and we have to consider that it can't be that hot because then it wouldn't ever burn prey. It would, especially small prey. If a huge dragon burns a sheep, I mean, with that kind of heat, it'd be nothing. And it has to eat a lot, so therefore, it could be a very devastating way to die. And Gagmazia, on the other hand, shared the one from How to Train Your Dragon, the huge bewilderbeast, and that breathes ice and coldness, so the opposite. And we often ask that question in ourselves and with friends, which was the worst way to die, by freezing or by being burnt. So, I don't know. As far as the dragons doing it, I think it's pretty similar in this case. It seems like the intensity could be of equal level. I don't know. What do you think, Gargamel, since you brought it up? What do you think about the bewilderbeast that freezes you with its breath?
I don't. I just remember that a little bit. I don't remember much about it. Yeah. I think that'd be an unpleasant way to die as well.
Sure. The thing is,
I don't know necessarily if it'd be worse than being burned alive. Maybe it would be, because I think dying from freezing to death could actually be a slower way to die, unless it was really, really cold. But even then, I don't know.
Exactly.
It's a horrible way to die too.
And with Dragon Flame, you're not really dying from the smoke and choking on smoke either. You're just dying from the flames too. So it's
but you might also choke from the smoke if you're like in an isolated, enclosed space, and some of the dragon fire manages to get in there.
Sure, like that.
Yeah, in a different environment.
And that's what people forget, because with ice and freezing, you always remember the concept of numbness is quicker. But what's tends to be forgotten is when you do get frostbite and things like that. That's a lot of pain too. It's just you hit upon numbness probably much quicker than with fire. Fire is like acid in a way of working through layers and through layers of nerves, whereas ice doesn't necessarily work through all these layers. It covers, all the exterior layers, and well, that's hard to say, but yeah, it just feels like numbness is a quicker thing, and numbness is definitely a better solitude within all this torture than just constant pain. Ice also, yeah, that's the thing. But doesn't burn. But the question is, I guess, does it burn you as long as fire does?
Well, the ice just kind of kills
should
the
we
cells.
experiment?
Just kind of burn.
What's up, Posity?
Like, the ice doesn't burn, it just kills all the cells that it touches, because the ice grows inside the cells and it ruptures them.
I mean, you feel it too, especially when you tear away from it, and
Yeah, and
all
it
that,
sticks
but-
to your skin as well, isn't
but
it?
yeah, fire is just the element of destruction, as we always think about it. Ice is often seen as a preserver too, so I think fire could win in this case, especially if the dragons blowing out that element. Let's see. Also, wait, Pale, the loved reign of fire, never meddle in affairs of dragons, for you are crunchy and good with ketchup. Fried human. So, I guess sort of along the lines of what Gargamel brought up with the breath, and what I was thinking about the levels you can control it. I guess my monster that I wanted to shout out again today, because I did shout it out in my last video, it actually got one of the spots of the top 5 for D&D cave monsters, just the coolest ones. And that's the Destrachan. Let me know, JMPF, how my pronunciation on that is. Destrachan in Spanish means unleash. And that is certainly what this monster does, because it unleashes something through its mouth. But unlike breathe and breath, it's more in the form of waves, sound waves. Here's another breathing dragon. Cool, nice one. Ice breathing dragon, very cool. Gogmazio, beautiful dragon. That's a gorgeous work. So the Destrachan is a cave dweller. It looks like a bipedal dinosaur, like you would see raptors as T-Rex, just smaller, bigger than a raptor, smaller than a T-Rex. But it doesn't have that scary look of big. It actually does have fangs. They're just, its mouth is different. If you look at it, you know what? How about I get an image of it? And I'll keep going on with that. Just a moment. Because this thing is pretty cool. There's a reason why I chose it, and usually I go off of looks very strongly, but I did strongly choose this one because of its attack ability. So if you guys haven't watched the video, I'll share the details on this one now too. So there you go, there it is. See, it doesn't look that threatening. It doesn't have eyes. It dwells in darkness, but it emits this powerful harmonic wave system. With fries on the side. So what it can do is, yes, it emits a sound powerful enough to break stone. It can do that. So that's already scary. Okay, so it can make a sound strong enough. If it breaks stone, so it's going to break through our eardrums, and it's just going to make us go deaf. And possibly explode what's in our head as well. And that's the thing. That's the beauty of the Destrachan, because it's not a stupid beast. That's why I love it now. It's my new love. As I just discovered it when I was doing a video. It is very intelligent of a creature. Very intelligent. And it has superb hearing. Some of the best hearing in all of the D&D creatures. It can hear basically a drop of water 100 feet away. Yet it can produce this insanely powerful sound. So the coolest thing I think about its sound control is that it has very good control over. I said it's intelligent, and so it's intelligent in controlling its sound waves. So that's why I brought up with the dragons that Gargamel spoke of. I wonder how much they can control the flame and the heat level, because the Destrachan can have so much control over the sound it produces, to the point where it can manipulate the waves to target specific things. First of all, it can shoot the waves against a surface like a wall, so it can reverberate and echo and hit a opponent in some specific area. It's smart enough to know where to target the wall, I believe. But then again, my favorite part of it is it can change the wavelengths of the sound it produces to a huge degree. So, if it is attacking you, let's say we're in medieval fantasy times. Let's say you're wearing iron, steel weapons and iron armor. It can specifically target to what it needs to break that armor and destroy that armor before it starts to target other things than you, which is pretty crazy if you think about it. But it's D&D, so it can disarm you. It can destroy your weapon. It can destroy your armor. It can shatter the wood, and then it can target the various levels that make you biologically. It can target your skin cells. It can target your flesh and just destroy that and shatter that in a way. Or it can play with you. And it is a very malevolent creature. It's very evil. It's not like this regular beast that's just going to kill you and eat you. Its intentions are a little bit beyond that in the whole evilness of it. So it can play with you and torture you. It is very possible for it to do that in the context of what it is. So it can target your nervous system and disrupt your nervous system, basically make you go prostrate, just lose control over your body, yet still feel pain, and then do whatever it wants. Claw you, chew on you, slowly use harmonics to destroy other things within you. Maybe, I don't know how well it can pinpoint the sound. I think it just kind of goes everywhere. But if it could, maybe it could target specific organs and kind of play with you. And depending on how intelligent it is, maybe start experimenting on torturing you in various ways. Jono, I don't know if you've been talking at all. I just see your light going off, but I haven't been hearing you. Just letting you know in case you think we're not... Oh, there you are. Okay.
Trying to play a bit, I'm keeping the microphone on.
Okay, never mind. You're good. So that's what the Destrachan, to unleash. Oh, can I write it? Sure. Here it is, JMPF. Let me double check that by searching it out. So when talking about horrible ways to die, being tortured by sound waves that trigger different things within your biology, yeah, that's pretty scary. Or a screech that's just high enough to make you go insane but not break your eardrums and make you lose your hearing, or making sounds that echo and get crazy to where there's more to it than just biology. There's a lot of to it that can hit your mind and your thought level too. A sound can penetrate through various facets of our being. So what do you think, JMPF? Is that correct? That's what I found online. Surprised me.
It's not a real word.
Not a real word. What?
It's meant to sound in Spanish.
Let me see. I saw that somewhere. Yeah, because that wasn't something I was expecting to see. Let me see. Translate. That would suck if that's if I made a mistake or Google lied to me or something. Translation. Let me check real quick. Maybe a different language. Come on, Google. We're all in this together. Yeah. No, that's what I'm seeing on Google, JMPF. I'm searching it right now. If I put in Destrachan with that spelling in Spanish, it says in English it means unleash.
Destrachan.
Destrachan.
I've never heard that word.
That is weird. Do you think maybe it's like a word that's specific to Spain, Spanish, rather than South
Maybe in a
American?
specific country. Yes,
Yeah, right.
maybe.
A specific cultural reference, I guess. Maybe. Well, that's kind of cool. I'm glad that Google still proved it because I would be so mad at myself if I made a mistake. But it intrigues me where it really comes from. All right, the sound of power, the thurn, pronounced thum. Thum, yeah. It's used in Skyrim. So, any thoughts on that, guys? Have you thought about torture by sound at all?
That is pretty freaky way.
I mean, if it was just loud, that's one thing. But the scary thing is that it is intelligent enough to be evil, and on top of that, intelligent enough to have so much control over the harmonics. That's what makes it really scary, actually, if you think about it. And very different from what it appears to be. Such an unpredictable creature. Pro's here. Pro, did you catch any of the info on the destruction here? Because that's a pretty wild one. There was something here I thought you'd like. I forgot now. But since you are here, Pro, do you have any idea to share about horrible ways to die by monsters? No. Okay. Or anything that comes to mind that would be just devastating. And let's keep it simple too, folks. Let's look at the bigger or the smaller picture too, which is being eaten alive. How bad that idea is. I mean, we see it with animals all the time. We even have it in our own homes if we have predatory pets. But to think and where your mind goes with that, why we have the fear of sharks and all this stuff, because where your mind goes when you take into the mind the concept of being eaten alive, what it takes, bit by bit, bite by bite. It's pretty wild. What I often think about is very large predators eating very small prey, and how that works out for the prey. Such as lately I was looking at the megalodon and then the larger fish, because megalodon wasn't actually the largest fish, the largest shark, but not the largest fish. I forgot the largest fish's name. Maybe you guys know. But I was thinking that fish can just pretty much swallow us. It can open its jaws wide enough to take our whole body in and just gulp us up without chewing us in. And I was wondering what torture you go through before you're dead in its digestion. Because there's one video, well, there's many videos, but there's a video of a frog or a toad eating I think it was a mouse. Very quick. It just gobbles it up and swallows it. Done. And people are wondering, wait, what's going on with the mouse? Like, how does it die? Does it just choke in it? The thing is, with different creatures, they have different bony elements within their body too that break you, prod you, pierce you, and choke you. So, yeah, probably suffocation. But then you have that whole claustrophobia, like how much are you squeezed and to what degree? Because I'd imagine if you're going to that kind of system, it's going to be very tight. Maybe the mouth of the creature is very big, but once you get to the stomach, it's not like you can walk around in it like old Moby Dick stories, or portrayals. But rather, it would be tight. There'd be acid all over you, and you would be in acid. So not only would you be freaking out, so you'd need to breathe quick, but you would be pushed around and flushed and squeezed by the organs at the same time, acid hitting you at certain degrees and going into your nose. So, yeah, suffocation would most likely, of course, be the main way of death, but just how much torture would you go through? How much more horrendous would it be to be eaten bit by bit than like that? And the master of eating bit by bit, I think, is the mantis. I always enjoy the praying mantis and how it feeds, because it's just devastating, especially because a mantis will try to eat you head first. Cool. Okay. Laws of nature, but also it's just easier. It works for the predator that way. but sometimes it'll pick something up butt end up, and it's not really smart enough, or it's not going to try to move the creature around because it might lose its prey, so it will start eating the creature from the butt end or leg end. And if you think about it, that's a very, slow death in a way too. So there we have it. Chicken God came in. Chicken God, do you have anything that's related to our topic today that you'd want to share? Today's topic is horrible ways to die by monsters. Monster Hunter that can eat you. Cool, so this one can eat you alive. See, that's another one like that. It's got a huge mouth, so it can just probably gobble you up. But then, yeah, right there where you get to the innards, it's just going to get so tight that you just can't move, can't breathe. For people with claustrophobia, we can admit it'd be a much worse experience. Cool, Chicken God has something. Let me see what you guys said. The U.S. used sound power to torture a cartel boss or some dictator out of his hideout. Really? I haven't heard of that. That's interesting, Louis. I'd want to read an article on that. Oh, interesting. Okay. Oh, that was Chris. Chris said, so Chris stopped by in a text here. He said, I won't be able to make it, so I am going to drop this one here. The way the jinn from Supernatural, particularly a subbreed of them, feed. In Supernatural jinn, the blue wish granting creatures, aka genies, Supernatural, grant wishes by putting you in a coma and manipulating your brain to think that they have fulfilled your wish, essentially putting you in a blissful delusion. Nice. While they drink your blood. The subbreed of them that I am referencing and do not remember the name of, however, instead put you in a coma, give you non-stop visions of nightmares and torture while you're melting and liquidating in their organs inside before drinking them out. A bit short, but definitely not a pleasant way to go. Right on. Cool. Well, wherever you are, Chris, thanks for sharing that. And I was going to say, well, that's probably the best way to die today in a good way. But the second one, you getting delusions of, well, nightmares and torture as you dissolve. Depending on how powerful that illusion in your head is, that could be the worst death on our list today, too. Especially if it triggers your weaknesses. If it's something that triggers your weaknesses, not just random visions of nightmares, then of course that would be the worst way to die. Because, of course, anything that's custom designed to torture you is going to be the worst way for you, right? But yeah, the idea of dying while being in a blissful world, hey, that's not so bad. I'm sure for a lot of people in reality would like something real like this. Maybe someday they'll make a euthanizing chemical like that, if it's legal enough, to help people that are suffering in hospitals and can't really get out of it, just to have a really blissful state. I mean, they do to a certain degree. They can make you so numb and all this, but just to give you, but even like better with the blissful part of it.
Yeah, but that's going to inevitably get into the morality of suicide when it is and is not okay to help someone commit suicide.
Right.
Maybe we shouldn't be talking about.
And even more so, like people wanting now to be killed than just those people that have no other way out. Yeah, like even becoming a street drug, or even becoming a manipulated street drug where it's weaker to where you don't necessarily die, but you get that blissful part of it. Yeah, I don't know. Interesting what chemicals can do. I wonder if anybody's in the chemistry here. We haven't really gotten a deep in chemistry person. Those are always fun people to have on board. Thanks, Rita, for posting the images of the praying mantis. Right on. That's what I'm talking about. But at least they go quick. Praying mantises don't torture you like the Destrachan or a cat. They take you, and although they might get you from the wrong end, but they just eat through it fast. And they're so awesome because their mouth parts aren't huge, so they still have to dig in through piece by piece. Here's a treat.
Domestic cats only only like play with their food and kill for fun because they're domesticated. They don't need to,
True. Yeah,
get
it's a different
food.
mentality.
They're a wild animal still, but they don't have to worry about it. So they do what the nature says just because they enjoy it.
Let's see. Yeah, Louis. Okay. Here is monster that Earth's whole ecosystem in one gulp. Okay, so this monster eats the whole Earth's. Is that eats the whole Earth's whole ecosystem? I think you're saying. Okay. Apparently, this is floating island dragon. Cool. Surprised Chris didn't go with eternally being eaten by roaches thing. Eternally being eaten by roaches thing. What are you referring to?
I think we have to go now, guys. I'm kind of enjoying this, but I think I should go. I'll see you later. I'm glad I was able to spend at least some time here.
No, thank you. Thank you, Gargamel, for sharing and stopping by.
Have a nice day.
Thank you. Take care. You too.
Bye.
Why roaches, Pro? What is that referring to? Is because he spends so much time with roaches, being a rat? Here is his mouth. Cool. Well, let's see that real quick. Loading. Never mind. Range plus. Delete the large one. Beware the hom. No. Yes. By gag. Okay. Death by gag. Chicken God. So I'm assuming you don't have anything, right? Unless you were preparing something. Let me know, Chicken God. Otherwise, we'll be wrapping this up. Nah, sorry. Okay, all good. For you, maybe come. Ham. Don't let the John Ham eat you up. What was I? I was looking at something today, Jono, and I thought of the Whispers. What was it? Oh yeah, there's a. Where did I see it? There's a there's a new board game for you out, and it's called War of Whispers, something like that. It just came out. So there you have it, Jono. And finally see which whispers win.
I'm sure that's a game for Slayers, Arthur, right?
All right. Goodness gracious. Okay. Moving along. Let's make a vote, guys. If we will. To be honest, okay, so we're wrapping up. We're done with the discussion. Oh, I did want to go over which one you guys enjoyed the most.
I haven't posted.
Oh, JMPF, I totally skipped you, my friend. Sorry about that, man. Go ahead. I thought I called you. So weird. Share with us, JMPF. Share. I really thought I had you. I think I went through so many texts at the beginning that I thought maybe I went through yours. Which one did you guys like the most so far? Out of all these shares today, we had. Let me review them for you guys real quick, so you don't have to scroll up and think about it. Okay. So, guys, we had. So listen up and let me know which one you thought was the best. Or the worst ways to die. So we had Freddy Krueger. We had the Cenobites from Hellraiser. We covered Dracula to some degree. And the demon in Evil Dead, where it raises your blood pressure to the point that you explode. A dragon. What did that do again? It had a fluvian. It was like an acid. So bacteria that eats you inside out by the dragon from Monster Hunter. Xenomorphs, the whole face hugger thing, and the chest burster. That was more of a conception there. The acid involved. Let's see what else. I might be skipping some if I'm not seeing an image quick. The blob digesting you. You dissolving within its acid. Death by dragon fire or ice or dragon ice breath. Death by very concentrated levels of harmonics. And just been eaten alive. What did you guys enjoy the most? What do you think is the worst one, guys? Anybody?
Eaten alive. Damn. That's bad.
Really bad.
What'd you say, Jono? So which one?
Being eaten alive.
Eaten alive. It is, yeah, just as simple as that concept is compared to them. I think it's
Especially not, swallowed whole, but
mhm,
eaten bits by
bit
bits.
by bit. Yeah, no, definitely. Okay, anybody else? How about OCD? Did you find any more treacherous than the other?
Ooh, I'm not sure. I haven't been listening that closely. Unfortunately, I've been kind of distracted. But
All good.
I think I still think the blob is like almost horrible. Just,
Yeah,
man,
just being digested
It really freaks me out. Yeah.
slowly. For sure. Getting put into a giant blender sounds scary. It does, Louis, especially, waiting in line to get in that blender. It's like the beginning scenes of Skyrim, where you're waiting in line to have your head chopped off. I just imagine that blender going slower and then slowly speeding up. And what the blender actually composes of. Is it like tubes, or is it blades or spikes? They had a clip on The Simpsons in a tree house horror scene where that happens. Nice. Nice reference there. Maybe because you are being processed into food, it's so scary. Yeah, the conception of it too. The blob is a favorite. Maybe I'm biased. Cool. We got a blob fan there, right on. We got a few blob fans on the channel. The blob, I think. Nice, Rita. All right, the blob. Blob got the most votes. Congratulations, OCD. Okay. And JMPF said, it looks like from that Japanese artist again. Love it. Whenever L. Hort encounters a human, it makes a bargain with them. If the human declines, I. Hort smashes the human. If the human accepts, I. Hort's implants a undeveloped brood into their body. When the brood hatches, it will kill the host. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Smashes the human if he accepts. Okay.
There was another monster.
So don't accept and you'll be smashed. Okay, so what are those little things, JMPF?
Aliens, they're a hard children. But there was another monster. That's the second monster.
Okay. Oh, I see. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'll catch that one real quick. Oh, there are 3. I thought there's 2. Yeah, I've seen the images of this one. I remember because I remember these little creatures coming out, like little face huggers or something. Cool. So something hatching within you and eating you out very negatively. Little things eating you out. That is quite frightening. That we don't often think of for ourselves, but we do see in the animal world. Very frightening. The first one was any human or animal that touches or gets too close to the surface of SCP-469 will be quickly enveloped. Oh, so we got an SCP. So when you get too close to it, you'll be enveloped by outstretching wings and drawn inside. Despite the feather's soft appearance, each hair is a sharp point. Ooh. That quickly pierces through clothing into bare flesh, releasing a neurotoxin, so based on neurology and your nerves, that immediately stimulates all the pain receptors in the body, as well as other stimulants to keep the victim from passing out too quickly. This is to make the victim scream loudly, thus feeding SCP-469 even more until the victim eventually goes into shock. That's crazy. It is... Damn, this is definitely one of the evilest ones, I'd say, in the SCP universe. It is responsible for the loss of 4 personnel this way. Touching it with dead or non-living objects has no effect. Okay, so it's smart to that level. Wow. Okay, so it engulfs you in its wings with feathers that are composed of tiny needles that trigger your nerves. causing you as much pain as possible because that's what it feeds on, is how loud you scream. That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. I was, yeah, just the concentrated point of it to torture you is kind of on the level of what I was thinking with the Destrachan, being able to pinpoint ways to torture you with sound, but this being directly pins into your nerves. That's pretty wild. Yeah, that's a dark one. That's a dark one for sure. Okay, and the third one JMPF shared. There's two things. Oh, and what's that? I forget it. The phobia of tiny things. I always forget it when I'm live streaming. But that would go along with that second one you mentioned there, JMPF. Because I know of people that would certainly fear not only tiny creatures eating your flesh, but just the sight of so many tiny little beings. Okay, second one is this one. Okay, this fanged entity. There's two things the Pontianak loves the most: blood from newborn babies and young men. In this case, it will either cry like a baby or disguise itself as a beautiful woman. Once trapped, it will then rip the man open with its claws, feast on its blood and innards, and sometimes castrate him if it thinks he hasn't suffered enough. There's two things the Pontianak loves the most: blood from the new and young men. In this case, it will either cry like a baby. Okay, it will
I
either.
posted twice by mistake.
Okay, I'll just keep going. It will cry like a baby or disguise itself as a beautiful woman. Once trapped, it will rip the man. Okay, got you. Okay. Oh. All right, so this is more of your usual kind of horror, just a very evil being that'll tear you apart, feed on you. And newborn babies. Reminds me of some cryptids. Where's this one from? JMPF? What universe? Is it from a game? Where is it from? Horrific. Whilst the creeper doesn't kill unless necessary, when it catches the scent of someone it really wants to eat, nothing can stop it. It will proceed to take body part.
The other one is from a legend. It's a legendary creature.
Is from a what? Living creature?
It's a legendary creature.
Ah, legendary. Okay, so it is a cryptid actually. Okay, so I think I've heard of it then. Because no, there's another one that's similar that also feeds on newborn babies, even unborn babies. I think that one's from Philippines. So right on. And then the third one, the fourth one, you have outdone yourself again, JMPF. Fourth one is the creeper. So it doesn't kill unless necessary. So that's nice to know. When it catches the scent of someone it really wants to eat, nothing can stop it. It will proceed to take the body part it wants to, so swiftly the prey remain alive for several seconds, even if something as the heart has been taken. Nice, so it'll remove what it wants to feed on that quick. So cool. Good to hear it's not completely evil. It's just more or less a predator. Just a very efficient predator. And knows what it likes. Sorry, a friend asked me to help something. Have we mentioned necromorphs? No, necromorphs have not been mentioned, but that's a good one too. Especially since you go crazy before death. Crazy enough to kill yourself or kill others. Usually you just kill others and get killed. And then once you're dead, it doesn't end there. That's the beauty of the topic today, is the ones that kill you, but you don't really remain dead completely. You don't remain out of sight, out of mind, out of complete existence. As with the necromorphs, we don't know what's going with the mind in that universe. If there's a afterlife conception, probably not. But in this reality, you move around as this horror, this body horror. As with the Cenobites, it's beyond physicality. It's to that old hell where you suffer something over and over and you think that you'll finally reach an end, but you never do. Not really unique choice. Going insane and killing yourself is bog standard cosmic horror. Right. It's not the most unique of the list. We've heard stuff like that. I think it's what is more interesting with necromorphs is what happens to you after. Where you're not just becoming a zombie, but you're controlled by this thing and your body never really gets to rest, right? And we often hear that in zombie-related and infected movies. It's like, I just want my mother to die. I don't want her to walk around. I want her body, because people relate their body to their soul and their mind. And who knows if that's connected, right? But often people relate that, and they think that that person isn't getting that rest. And maybe when you're become a necromorph, maybe you don't rest. Maybe you're not fully dead. Or not in a different reality, you know, if we want to go there. All right, beautiful. I'm going to say the one I enjoyed the most out of these, JMPF, I do like the brood coming out of your body, but that's not too original. I like that SCP one, as simple as it is outside. I just like the idea that the wings are composed of tiny needles that just torture you all over. That's lovely. All right. Blender is one of their hands. In shape, I don't want to spoil it by saying more. I meant the strain. Cool. Yeah, similar thing with the strain. And strain, you even retain more of yourself. Well, it depends how you get to that form. Okay, guys. We can vote on something for the next one. I'm going to take a bit of break for a week. I'm not sure yet. I don't want to say anything because then my words get
oh no, Arthur's starting
twisted.
to tease me again. Please stop.
But I'm going to take a break.
Know.
I need a break. But we can still come up with the next topic now, or if you guys want to do that later, or in a poll. Do you guys want to do that now?
Yeah, sure.
Let's just do it then, and we'll put it in the events. Remember, guys, it's always in the events cavern what our next topic is. So let's hear it. I'm gonna put us.
I mean, we're skipping next week, Arthur.
Yes. Do you have any suggestions, Gianna?
What about creatures that are usually mixed up into like chimeras and stuff, like creatures that are commonly made monsters, like lions and eagles, you know, they're using monster designs for that. What about we talk about that kind of stuff?
Okay. Creatures that often partake in those kind of experiments. Maybe which ones are relevant, or how to make a good chimera, a tastefully good chimera, something like that.
I think we already did chimera monsters, Arthur, like last year.
We're talking about chimeras themselves, not how to like make one.
Right. I think we're talking about more brainstorming. What makes a good? So don't go online and just find one, but we're gonna talk more about what makes a good one. Like putting this creature and this creature is kind of goofy, but this one and this one, it makes sense and how it would work. So more of a brainstorming, creation one. I like that.
About
That works.
The manatee John Organ hybrid. That would be the perfect killing machine.
John
Perfect predator.
John Hamm and Tommy Wiseau. That's a genius one. Tommy Wiseau and John Hamm. It's perfect balance. The Pro and Jono one that I created one time. Although no, that was more of I had an outcome. So we got that one. I'm thinking I'm gonna do a simple one for you guys, or I'll release a simple idea, which is tentacled monsters. And we know of the big ones out there, so of course the more obscure ones. Tentacled beasts. Not really unique. Many layered layers. Nuclear monsters. Nuclear monsters. That's an interesting one. So are you saying like the the outcome of a nuclear attack monsters? Or are you talking they're composed, like they're nuclear themselves, or they have a nuclear weapon, either with nuclear powers or mutate? Okay, so mutations and radioactivity and all that. Cool, cool. So we got Fallout stuff. And Godzilla. Okay, we're brainstorming. There we go. So that's 3 already. Anything else from you guys? How about many layered monsters? We had monsters with layers.
Monsters with thick skin. Finally, I can talk about the Miami Mutilator.
Oh, large monster factions.
I really do think.
Thanks, Louis. Thanks that you get it, man. I need it.
Arthur,
Yep.
What will Monstercast number 100 will be like?
I don't know. Let's see how long we're at. 78. That's not so far off.
What about
I don't know. We should probably plan for that.
Special, something
Maybe.
big.
So big.
Like hydration challenge or
Something
something.
like John Hogan Monsters Part 2, Adrian Lumbago edition.
Oh boy, lumbago. Lumbago. Okay, so let me write out the options.
Yeah, we need like another like monster creation challenge. Just not sure if there are any out right now.
Dande's running one right now, which is the
Is it?
mechanical one. I think is this month. Or was that?
Whereabouts
Yeah.
can I find it?
Because last month it was the Chimera one, right? So if you go to events, and that's also where you're going to see our latest Monstercast. So any event going on here is going to be there.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice.
So
Because
mechanical.
usually there is a Slayer who posts what the next Monstercast will be
Jana,
in the events cover.
Jana, I thought you had a thick skin.
I do. That's why I'm saying this, Arthur. The skin is thick. It must be.
Well, nice rain crawler. Thanks for catching that Filipino monster. Oh yes. Okay, guys, here are the topics: brainstorming a chimera, tentacled monsters, prehistoric monsters, nuclear monsters, large monster factions, monsters found in catacombs. Doesn't mean they have to be undead. Cool. So JMPF says brainstorming. OCD says brainstorming. Jono says nuclear. Chicken God, I believe, says nuclear too then. Well, no, she had 2 suggestions. Which one do you prefer, Chicken God? Or which one do you vote for? Brainstorming. Cool. Thank you guys for writing it out. It's easier to count. Prehistoric Gagmazio. Prehistoric from Chicken. Ooh, we got some battling going here. There's
That's my background music.
We need that. Good. Usually found in catacombs. Nuclear.
Nice.
So nuclear has 2. Brainstorming, I think, has 2. No, it has 3. Looks like brainstorming may be the winner. Maybe the winner. Unless I want to make a tie. Nuclear has how many now? 1, 2, 3. Nuclear has 3, but I think brainstorming has 4. 2, 3. It's a good one where we don't just, list again. Although it could be a listing. Brainstorming. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. I thought there were 4 for brainstorming. 2. Nuclear 1, 2, 3. Well, then it looks like a tie. Looks like I could break the tie. If everybody's voted. I think everybody's voted. For sure. What did Louis vote for? Let me see. Monsters found.
Wait, which one was?
Large fact. I changed my vote to nuclear. Looks like nuclear is the winner.
Yay.
Okay.
Louis changed it. Better luck next time.
You will see vengeance for this.
There you go. Watch out, guys. Especially you, Louis. Watch out. Last minute changes. Cool. Okay. No again, says Gogmazio. So we'll do nuclear monsters. Some mutated things. It can be ones that somehow use nuclear too and things like that. Maybe not necessarily affected by it. We can see what we come up with. There we go. Nuclear. Good for our end of world situation. I kid. No. It's like Michael Scott from The Office. No.
What?
Awesome scene. Nothing. The American The Office. Okay. I think I asked you before. Did you watch the British The Office? Or the American one?
I watched the American one.
Yeah.
You watched the American? Cool.
I don't believe I have.
Okay. I like both of them. I definitely like both of them. Okay, and that's that, everybody. Okay, so I'll see you guys when I'll see you. Before our Monstercast, the next one, I'll make sure to update in our community tab over here in the Voices of Monsters.
So we're not doing next Saturday either?
I'm not sure yet. I'm not saying anything because then people will say I said something.
We're basically pausing this.
We'll see. Well, no, you guys can always come here on a Saturday. I might even stop by just to chat, but I'm not gonna do an official one. I'm getting busy too, and work's starting back up, and I'm really not too happy with it. And other stuff. So anyway.
Finally time for the John Hogan experience. The real experience.
Hey,
the
John,
Slayer experience.
You can run every Saturday with John Hamm if you want. Whoever joins, they join at their own risks. I changed my vote to nuclear. So yeah, guys, I'll update you in the community tab over for you YouTube people, and over here, I'll try to do it, a week or some days before. If I decide to do it on the Discord, so I'll let you guys know on the Discord. It's a scary world. Please be kind to humans. There's a plane only each individual can understand. All right, it's time to fly. See you, Louie. See you, Rita. Okay, guys. Go ahead and say your goodbyes. Take care, everybody. Have a great day or night wherever you are. Next time, it's going to be Nuclear Monsters.
Beware that when fighting Hom, you yourself do not become a Hom, for when you gaze long into the Hom gazes also into you. Friedrich W. Nietzsche.
Oh,
Hi everyone.
Yeah.
Arthur?
There's OCD's outro music.
Arthur.
Yes, John.
It's time.
It's time.
We need to talk.
Time to ban someone. And 3,